Around 500. Which is 100 is lowest. I'm gonna ask Tuporia if I have a role on how this short. Do I become like? Arman, I think so. That's what I'm gonna do. Oh, Dana.
Oh.
All right. So tonight was a tough night, obviously, for bonuses. We felt like the fight of the night was the Rebecca fight. Shara, Hamzat, and Tuporia. We actually kicked in another. You can't not give those three guys bonuses. And then we'll take care of Ebo, too. He's not getting 50, but he won't be disappointed. Maybe he will. I don't know. Who's got the first question?
Dana, this feels like one of those events that you sort of sit at home thinking about for the next week and just going over all the amazing fights we had tonight. Starting with the main event, you know, there's a lot of questions about Ilia Tuporia. Is he as good as he says he is and all that sort of stuff? No one's done that to Max Holloway. Give us your thoughts on his performance and the result.
I agree. We were just talking in the back, you know, as you start to clip off legend after legend after legend, you eventually become a legend. So he looked, both guys look great tonight. Max came in with the right game plan. I think that the early calf kicks, you know, added up and took their toll later on in the fight. Those things are so devastating when people throw them the right way. And yeah, he couldn't have fought a better fight. Took some big shots himself, has the chin, kept coming forward. Incredible performance by both guys. But Tuporia did something that nobody's ever done before.
If you think of the names that Max has fought, right, Dustin Poirier, Justin Gaethje, these guys have landed big shots on him before. But for Ilia Tuporia, who's not even a particularly big featherweight, how crazy is it that he can generate that much power in his shots?
Yeah, he's legit. If you question a guy after Volk, I mean, you can't question him after tonight. He is legit.
Obviously, Volk did come in the cage. I know we should probably wait until Tuesday, but does that seem like the logical fight to give up since Tuporia said he wants to do the rematch as well?
Listen, Volkanovski is one of those guys. We're not going to say no to Volkanovski. He's been that guy for us. Anytime we needed him, you know, he was on this run like Adesanya and like Alex is on right now. When things don't go our way and you got to call a guy, Volkanovski's always been that guy. He really was. And, you know, for him to ask for, it's nobody, I don't think anybody's in this room going, oh, this is ridiculous or crazy. And who wouldn't want to see it again?
So, Ilia Tuporia's just knocked out Volkanovski, knocked out Max Holloway, two of the best ever in that division or even in the sport.
Yep.
How does his year rank up to Alex Pereira, who's had so much activity and crazy knockouts himself?
And Islam, you know? I mean, when you look at these guys and these runs they're on, it's incredible.
Hamzat Chimaev obviously did what he does. I think people were a little bit confused at how quick Rob tapped until they saw the images just come out of his jaw. Insane.
And you're right. So as soon as that happened, I picked up the phone and I called the truck and they're like, yeah, his jaw popped. And so I knew what had happened. Because I didn't know what happened either, why he tapped so quick. Because Mick came over and we were like, he didn't even have the choke in. It's weird. Yeah, he popped his jaw. And so it was, you know, when you do that, like it splits and the teeth get all messed up. Rob has that right now.
So is that a dislocation or a break or what exactly?
I don't know yet. It's not good. When your teeth are going, you know, it's not good.
And then after the fight, obviously you ran up and spoke to Hamzat Chimaev on his way out of the ring. Just curious what you got to say to him and what exactly his future could be.
Yeah, I just said congratulations, great fight, and we'll talk to you soon.
Dana, we're here. Was there any update on RDA? Because obviously it looked like he blew his knee out in there.
I think that's what happened, yeah. I don't know exactly, but we're pretty sure he blew his knee out.
Same as Orlby, that they got after that war. Obviously his eye was swollen shut and he's somehow kept fighting.
So when you guys were watching that fight, what did you immediately think? Huh?
The stoppage?
Orbital, right? No. It's fucking crazy. soft tissue swelling. That was it. That's insane. It's incredible. I thought his orbital was destroyed. No? Pretty amazing.
Magomed all week has said that you told him that he needed an impressive performance to get the next title shot. Ankalaev, I'm curious what you thought of his victory.
He looked good. He absolutely looked great.
And Shar Bullet, obviously one of the knockouts of the year, probably would be on the short list if it wasn't for Max at 300 with a double spinning back fist. He also wants to seem to fight every week. Like, he wants to turn around and fight in Macau, and then he wants to turn around and fight in Saudi Arabia. He's calling out Israel Adesanya. Is he just like a promoter's dream, like this exciting fighter that just seems to want to fight every single weekend?
Yes, I love guys like that. And that's how you do it. Listen, if you're that good and you're that confident in yourself and you get out of a fight and you don't feel all banged up and you're ready to turn around, it's what everybody should do.
And what was there was a bit of a drama with Farid Basharat and his opponent where Basharat was in here, said he had made weight, bantamweight, and then his opponent couldn't make it, so then he agreed to fight him at featherweight. So he weighed in at 137, and his opponent weighed in at like 146. There's that 10-pound difference at the weigh-ins. Like, he said he can't remember a time this has ever happened. Makes weight, still has to fight at featherweight. When did you learn that all that was going down?
Right now.
Thank you.
Yeah.
To go back to Ankalaev, he promised coming into this fight he wouldn't shoot a single takedown. He didn't do it. Is this enough to get Alex Pereira his title fight? It's the second longest unbeaten streak in the history of this division behind John Jones.
I would have to say yes.
Yeah. And go back to what Oscar said there about, Alex Pereira versus Ilia Tuporia. Who would you give your Fighter of the Year award? Alex had the quickest fighter to ever get 3 title defenses, 175 days. Ilia knocking out both these guys. Who would you give it to?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. That's a tough one. I'd have to look at more numbers and stats, but you can't take it away from either one of them what they've done this year. I mean, Alex. When you look at Alex, he's on vacation in Australia, and we call him and packs up and heads home and comes into the fight. I mean, he's built different, that guy.
Yeah, I don't know if we'll ever see what he just did again for a very long time.
It's like he doesn't even care about a full camp. He doesn't care if he's hurt. He doesn't care about anything. He'll get in there and fight.
Conor McGregor tweeted, "Call me," after the main event.
Lene just told me that, yeah.
What do you think he's referring to? Max at 155 for the BMF maybe? Or him and Ilia have had a lot of stuff to say to each other in recent months?
I don't know. I think that he did it to get this. We're all sitting here going, huh, what did he mean?
Yeah, I asked you the other night about at Power Slap about Merab and Umar, and after that, Merab at the Q&A before weigh-ins got asked about Umar, and he got like really upset when someone said he's ducking Umar. Is that the plan to do that fight? Like, is that the next fight you want at bantamweight, Merab versus Umar?
Absolutely.
Okay. And another thing you mentioned at Power Slap the other night was stuff about Francis Ngannou, and that stirred up a lot of reaction from the MMA community and from Francis himself. And he had a very interesting quote. Can I read you a little
Sure.
bit of it? He said, "He can't handle this loss," referring to you. "I'm sure he's been praying for my downfall." Which money is he talking about? The money that he owes me? They say we're going to give you back pay from the money we owe you from the Stipe and Surreal Gone fights. All that, they never paid me back. Now I've made more money than I would have ever made in the UFC. I would say twice the money in my entire UFC career.
Yeah. When have you ever heard a story in all the years we've been in business, even when it was upside down, where we owed somebody money? Never happened. So he's full of shit there. Then I lost. I didn't lose anything. I was done with Francis after the. He owes me money because we had to watch that fight with him and the Black Beast. He should actually pay me back for that fight, and all of you. And me praying for it. Trust me, I don't think about Francis that much. You guys asked me the question about the PFL, and I responded. Other than that, the only one who's praying for his demise is probably the PFL, because they signed a shitty contract with a guy that doesn't deliver any numbers and ticket sales or pay-per-views. So, and they got to keep paying this guy for however long, and good for him, and not good for them.
Yeah, and I know.
What was the other question?
It was. I know you said like he's all about the money, but then you also said like he would have made more money to stay here.
And that's a fact. He can play those games all he wants. He would have made more money here.
And just last.
Let me tell you what. There were two guys here, I wanted to cut them. Someday I'll tell you the story. Francis was like, I was all about Francis in the beginning, and then I found out who Francis was. And I told the two guys who asked me not to cut Francis, when somebody shows you who they are, believe them. And yeah, believe me, I have no sleepless nights over Francis leaving.
So just two more things on this.
Yeah.
You wanted to cut him, but he went on to become the UFC heavyweight champion. So I guess what does that say about that thought process?
Yeah.
Does it show he should have?
Well, no. I didn't like Francis as a person. Wasn't a guy I wanted to do business with. My boys were telling me he's misunderstood. And I told them, when somebody shows you who they are, believe them. Yeah, it wasn't about him becoming the heavyweight champion of the world. Francis isn't a good guy, plays a good guy. I don't understand the language, and so he seems like he's a nice guy. He's not, and he's just not a guy that I wanted to be in business with. Period, end of story. Whether he became the champion or not.
And I assume you don't want to be in business with him ever again, but
We won't be. We'll never be in business together. You can tell.
yeah.
We don't like each other. And this goes way back. This goes back to before the first Stipe fight. He pulled some shit before the first Stipe fight, and I said, I'm done with this guy, and then Stipe beat the shit out of him. Great night. And then, yeah, we never had a relationship after that.
Well, I know you said John Jones would walk out of any room, so wouldn't it be gratifying to put him in a room with Francis?
He didn't want that fight. He could have stayed and took that fight. He didn't want that fight. Tom Aspinall deserves that fight.
And just one other unrelated thing. Ian Gary posted a couple weeks ago him signing a contract for Colby Covington. He said it was going to be the main event in Tampa. I know you said in the past Colby's never turned down fights. Did he turn down that one? And what's going on with that potential match?
I don't know yet. We're still making. It's not that anybody's turning down fights. You know what I mean? Yeah, nobody's turning down fights.
Dana.
Hey, you.
Oh, sorry. It's gonna be. Hey, Dana. After seeing 2 weeks ago, you said Sean Strickland will be next for Dricus du Plessis, but after seeing Hamzat's performance tonight, is Strickland still next, or is it going to depend?
It's a good question.
That was my question.
Call me on Tuesday.
Because that was my question.
All right, and just one other one for me. I heard that there are plans of the UFC going to Abu Dhabi more in 2025. Are we just looking at Riyadh and Abu Dhabi when it comes to the Middle East, or could we be looking at other countries in the Middle East at 2025?
Definitely. I mean, we're we you know how it is. We want to take this thing everywhere. So yes, we could be looking at other countries. We're in talks right now, and yeah, we want to bring more fights here too.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you.
Дана, поздравляю с очередным крутым турниром. Ты уже доказал, что ММА может конкурировать с боксом, но сейчас параллельно шел футбол, Барселона против Реала. Когда ММА сможет конкурировать с футболом?
Congratulations on another great event. You already proven that you can compete with boxing, but tonight, at the same time that we had the event, there was the big soccer match. When are we going to be able to compete with the giant soccer?
Well, I don't really feel like I compete with other combat sports. I compete with things like soccer and the NFL and college football and the NBA. I mean, that's what we can, movies. I mean, whatever takes the attention of people on Saturdays is what I compete with.
Я не думаю, что я соревнуюсь с боксом или с какими-то другими видами спорта, боевого спорта. Мне кажется, что я уже соревнуюсь и с большим футболом, и с американским футболом, и с НБА и так далее. Вот это так, и даже с кино, поэтому вот такие вот самые большие вещи, это вот с ними я соревнуюсь.
В четвертый раз за историю UFC бой за титул дали дебютанту Кайо Сакари. Правильно я понимаю, что это говорит о кризисе в наилегчайшем весе?
This is the fourth time in the history of the UFC that a debut guy that's debuting is getting a title shot.
What did you say?
Кайо Сакара.
This is the fourth time in the history of the UFC that a debut guy is getting a title shot. Kyle Sakara. Does that mean that there's trouble in that division?
No, it means he's a bad motherfucker.
Нет, он просто охуенный.
Когда объявят реванш с Цурукяном и Махачевым?
When is going to be announced the rematch between Sarukian and Makhachev?
I don't know.
Не знаю.
Call me on Tuesday.
Во вторник позвони.
И последний от меня вопрос. Совсем недавно на подкасте рассказали о том, что у Шейна Карвина началась деменция. Поможет ли как-то UFC, ветерану этого спорта и человеку, который заслуживает быть в зале славы?
There was a podcast that said that Shane Carman had dementia started. Will the UFC help him out somehow for this person who deserves to be in the Hall of Fame?
What's the question? Would we do what?
Would you help him out somehow?
We have been helping him out. We have been working with Shane Carman for a long time.
Мы уже давно ему помогаем, уже давно с ним работаем.
Yeah, thank you.
Dana.
Go ahead, ma'am, in the back there. Yeah,
Me?
yeah.
Hi, Dana, Christina from Europop. Again, congratulations on a wonderful night of fights. It
Thank
was
you.
amazing. So now you have two champions from Georgia, and one of them today just made history for our country and for UFC as well. Made his first title defense. As a person who represents Georgian sports media, I get bombarded with questions that now that we have two champions, will the UFC bring an event, if not in Georgia, then maybe in the region? So are there any plans? I know you've mentioned either Madrid or Barcelona, but are there any plans to bring UFC and just in general have more cards in Europe?
Well, the answer to that is yes. This business is star-driven. You know, so when we have a South African, we want to get to Africa. When we have, somebody from Spain, we want to get into Spain. Georgia, yes. The answer is yes. I don't, we haven't looked into that yet, or what it would take to pull off an event near there, or whatever. I mean, we're still trying to figure out Spain with the arena situation. But when you look at the performance that that Tuporia had tonight, we need to get to Spain and figure it out quickly.
Well, we're waiting for you for sure.
Thank you.
Another thing for Max today, I mean, I think we can both agree that Max is the legend of the game, right? And do you, first, one question of that is, why wasn't the BMF title on the line for this fight? And the second part of the question is, are you now more sure of doing the maybe tournament for that belt up in the lightweight division?
So the Toporia's belt was on the line. Max was trying to take that. I want to say it was like, halfway through the second round. I said, shit, we should have put the bad motherfucker title up on this fight too, because these guys are both it. But I don't know. I don't know what we'll do with it yet. But Max still has it. Max holds the title, so we'll see what happens.
Okay, another one. Ilia mentioned wanting to get eventually during his career 3 belts. He defended one today. How realistic do you think that is, given what he has shown us and given the fact that he's only 28 years old?
Yeah, I like when guys absolutely wipe out a division, and then you're like, what's next? He's already beat this guy. If the Volkanovski fight happens, beat him twice, beat Max, he beat this guy, that guy, then you start looking at what's next.
And just one last one from me. A couple of days ago, I saw a video of you mentioning that you were very impressed with the new influx of talent, especially female talent in the UFC, and you felt like it's time to create new divisions like atomweight. That is something that I've been very interested in, and I was wondering if there was like any timeline, how serious those plans are, and if they are serious, when can we expect that to happen?
It's a great question, and every time I say something, I'm very serious about it. We were talking about the rankings, we've been working on the rankings. We talked about that, we've been working on that. Mick feels like that division isn't strong enough to actually build right now, but it's something that we're looking at, working on, and figuring out the possibilities, I guess I would say.
Okay, thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Dana,
Yep.
here.
Hi.
Hello. After this incredible victory of Ilia Tuporia against Max Holloway, can you confirm that Topuria's next fight will be in Spain?
Yeah, I was just saying, we have to get it done. We have to figure this out. I hate going to soccer stadiums. I like arenas better, but if that's what we got to do, then that's what we got to do. But yes, we need to get to Spain.
And after knocking out Holloway and Volkanovski, where does Topuria stand in the UFC featherweight historical ranking?
Well, like I was saying earlier, when you keep clipping legend after legend after legend, you become a legend. So he's on the right path.
Thank you.
Have you said, Ina, that Bernabeu is an option now? Even you hate it?
Did you say that the stadium was announced, even though you hate going to stadiums? Are you announcing that we're going to the stadium?
No,
So you hate it and Bernabeu is not an option?
you guys are the best, the best. No, I did not say. I said if we have to, we will. I would prefer not to, but we haven't done anything yet. As far as where we stand right now is all the arenas were booked up. We're trying to figure it out. But if I have to go to a stadium, I will.
Dana right here.
Thank you.
Hi, first of all, I owe you an apology. I was one of the people that hated Power Slap. I did a commentary in Arabic for them last time, and my God, you're 100% right. We are all wrong. I respect you so much for it. Seriously, that Power Slap
Thank
is
you, sir.
amazing. It's like an MMA,
It's a different experience live.
especially, it's
Yeah.
totally different.
Thank you.
Now, for the next year, here for Abu Dhabi and Saudi, I know there, like His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh asked you to add more Power Slap in Saudi. You said one, he said two. What do we expect? How many of them?
How many? Yeah, Power Slap's going everywhere. We had people at that event from all over the place, and yeah, we're going everywhere with Power Slap.
And as far as Africa, are we going North Africa or South Africa? Because
South. We're going to go south first. Looking at other places in the Middle East right now. We're looking to add more in Saudi and more here in Abu Dhabi.
Because there's talk.
And then we're going to Florida, Texas. I want to go to Hawaii with Power Slap.
I know you hate the. And are you guys fixing the pound for pound ranking?
Oh, we're trying to. Yeah, I'm trying to fix the rankings. Yeah, we've been working on it.
Is it done?
I think we have a really good plan in place. I can't really talk about it right now, but when I do, I'll let you know. We got a good plan. Just got to get it done now.
Thank you so much.
Hi, Dana.
Hi.
Congratulations for a successful event today. What lacks it from our perspective is the number of Arab fighters. We wish to see more Arab fighters fighting, and we would humbly request from you to have Dana White looking for a fight here in Abu Dhabi or maybe in Saudi Arabia. You will see many fighters who are at the top level that we want to test them in the UFC. Like Abdurrahman Al-Hiyasat, he's undefeated from Jordan. Abi Saghir, he's based in Michigan, undefeated 6-0 lightweight. We have Muhammad Al-Aqra, who is Kuwaiti and training with Khafir Mendez in AKA, undefeated 7-0. So if you can do such thing, we will be blessed with UFC here in the region.
Thank you, sir. Yes, I could see us doing one. We're talking about doing a lot of things here in the region right now. I had meetings since I've been here about doing more. You know the kid that came up on stage the other day?
Yep.
So the Korean Zombie started his own MMA organization, and he's got a fight like December 14th or 16th, and I'm looking for a fight there. We're gonna take that kid, we're gonna put him on that show, we'll match make it, we'll pay for the fight, and we'll see if he makes it.
My second question, about Ilia Tuporia, in the media they said that in the press conference you did him bad by drinking water and putting the same cup in front of him.
Yeah, I
And
saw that. Yeah.
And he was thirsty and...
Yeah, I need to be more aware of, I was thirsty too, but I should have waited till after the press conference. Yeah.
And my final question, before yesterday I saw Muhammad Mukayev, who was competing in ADXC. Some people said that Raul Rosas UFC rejected him to fight Mukayev because they were afraid that he will lose from Mukayev. Was it
That who would?
Rosas was supposed to fight him.
Yeah, he was supposed to
Mukayev.
fight him for the main event.
Who said that?
We heard in media that UFC rejected him to fight Mukayev in ADXC.
Who'd you hear that from?
So it's...
Who?
So UFC didn't reject that he fight in ADXC?
No. So first of all, he wasn't released. He just wasn't re-signed. His contract expired, and there were a lot of issues with him behind the scenes, and some not behind the scenes. The matchmakers were done with him.
Yeah.
They were tired of him, and they didn't want to deal with him anymore, so they didn't re-sign him.
Last question about Mukayev. I did an interview with him, and he said that he matured now and he has a good relation with you. But some people maybe are saying like negative things about him to you, and he wish one day that he can be re-signed with UFC. Do you think it may happen?
He said that you guys now have a good relationship, and it's just some other people that are saying that bad things about him to you, but he hopes that the relationship could be mended and one day he can be back in the UFC.
Yeah, listen, I have no problem with him. I've never had a beef with him, but I don't deal with him on a daily basis. If I did, maybe I would. You know, the matchmakers didn't want to re-sign him.
He lost, by the way.
Huh?
He lost.
Oh, he lost?
Yeah.
Split decision.
Listen, I got no problem with the kid. PFL should sign him.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just over here. Yesterday at the fan Q&A, Merab said that he wants to rematch Sean O'Malley towards the end of this year or early next year. And then you've also got Merab on Twitter saying that Merab is ducking him. Could you provide some clarity on that situation?
Umar said that Merab is docking him, but Merab said that he wants to rematch O'Malley either at the end of this year or at the beginning of next year. What's the situation?
Umar. That's what I mean.
Because there was some news that came out that he's scheduled to fight Son Yodong. Is there any confirmation to that?
Did we announce it?
No.
No.
Just one more as well. With the BMF title, assuming Max goes up for his next fight to lightweight, who comes to mind for a match with him?
I don't even know. Right here, right now, I have no idea. Like I say, we got to fly to New York tonight and then back to Vegas Monday morning. Tuesday we'll be back in the office and we'll start looking at what's next for all these guys.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yeah.
Dan Hooker.
Okay. Thank you.
Dana, with you.
Yeah.
Hello. As a fellow Georgian, Ilia Tuporia, there's many two champions of the UFC, Merab and Ilia, and also many Georgian fighters in the UFC, however. The Georgian fans want to know what's your opinion about the Georgian fighters in Over, and also the small countries like Georgia and many other countries have fighters in UFC. What's in the water of those countries about makes those fighters different in your opinion?
There's two champs from Georgia in the UFC. There's other Georgian fighters in the UFC. What is your opinion about Georgian fighters? And also, since there's so many good fighters from that region, what do you think is in the water that makes them so good?
Yeah, I obviously, when you talk about Georgia now, I mean, to have two guys that are world champions from there is incredible. And anything that ends at Stan, some tough guys are coming from. There's just these parts of the world where these guys are built different, and obviously, Sambo and wrestling is a big part of their culture. And yeah, it's amazing. I mean, I always talk about Australia, in 2001 we had Elvis Sinisik. That was the only guy in Australia, and if you look at how far they've come in such a short amount of time in that region, and the same could be said for Georgia. To have two world champions in the UFC, it's almost impossible to become top 5, top 3 in the UFC, but to have two world champions from there, it's incredible.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Дан,
Yes.
в первую очередь поздравляю с таким шикарным турниром. Вопрос такой. Сегодня Шара Буллет сотворил историю, оформив первый в истории нокаут двойным бэкфистом. Включил бы ты этот нокаут в топ-3 своих любимых и непредсказуемых нокаутов?
First of all, congratulations on an incredible event. Second of all, tonight Shara Bullet made history by putting in the books the first ever double back fist knockout. Would you include that knockout in the top 3 of all time, most unexpected, amazing knockouts?
100%. That's why I was saying when we did the performance of the night, you could not give the two kids that won fight of the night, and you could not give all 3 guys the bonus that won. Yeah, it's one of the coolest things I've ever seen.
По-любому, без вопросов, я никогда такого не видел, и невозможно было не дать бонус двум пацанам, которые сделали лучший бой вечера, но невозможно было не дать бонус всем остальным 3, поэтому одна из самых крутых вещей, которых я когда видел, по-любому.
Готов ли Шара сейчас драться против бойца из топ-10 или топ-5, может?
Do you think Shara is ready for a top 10 or top 5 fighter?
I don't know. I think that, again, when we get back into the office next week and we'll start putting all this stuff together. I mean, he looked incredible tonight. He looked good. And he beat a real guy, like a tough guy, and did it in spectacular fashion. So the answer is probably yes.
Не знаю, надо будет приехать, вернуться домой, посмотреть, смотрим. Но сегодня он выглядел невероятным образом. Сегодня победил настоящего бойца, сильного бойца. То есть, скорее всего, да.
И вот хотел бы ты, чтобы он дрался в Штатах, потому что Шар нам рассказывал, что в некоторых Штатах он может выступать.
Would you like Shar to fight in the States? Because he said that some of the states would allow him to fight.
Yeah, listen, I'd like to travel that guy all over the place, you know. We'll see.
Да, конечно, я бы хотел, чтобы он путешествовал везде. Да, посмотрим.
Да, и последний вопрос, если можно. Чья ММА борьба сильнее, на твой взгляд, Чимаева, который показал яркое выступление, Махачева или Хабиба?
And just a final question, who do you think has the best MMA wrestling? Chimaev, Makhachev, or Khabib?
Oh, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. I mean, if you look at what Khabib, achieved in the sport, and it's hard not to say Hamzat either. I mean, that guy came out tonight, and yeah, he looked damn good.
Очень сложный вопрос, потому что нельзя не заметить то, чего добился Хабиб своей борьбой и вообще в UFC. И то, что сделал сегодня Чимаев, тоже неповторимо, поэтому сложный вопрос.
Hey, Dana.
Thank you.
Here to your right.
Yep.
You probably already hate us Spaniards with all these "when are you coming to Spain" questions, but whether it is an arena or a soccer stadium, what would you need to see from either Barcelona or Madrid to decide on one of the two?
You probably already hate all these questions from the Spanish reporters about whether you come into a soccer stadium or to the arena, but what do you need to see from either Barcelona or Madrid in order for you to make that decision?
Availability. Availability, number one. And I don't hate the questions. I love the questions. I mean, obviously, I want to go to Spain as bad as Spain wants us to come. So we're working on it. We'll get it done. There's never been a time where we said we're going to do something and we don't do it. We figure it out and we'll get it done. And it's important for me to go to Spain in 25. So we'll figure it out.
And would you need a specific number of Spanish fighters to go to our country, or would that be okay with the 4 we have already?
Do you need a specific number of Spanish fighters in order to go to that country?
No, I mean, once you get into a market for the first time, obviously there'll be Spanish fighters on the card, but no, it's not. We need Tuporia. Yeah.
Dana, there were 6 undefeated fighters this evening, before this evening. So Ibo was the only one who took somebody's O, right here on your right and far behind. So what do you make of his performance? Did he meet your expectations?
There were 6 undefeated fighters, and Ibo was the only one who took somebody's O. What would you make of his performance?
Yeah. Well, like I said, the other performances, were at such a higher level, but he should have got a bonus tonight too. But we're going to take care of him. We'll take care of him. Like I said when I walked in, it's not going to be 50, but we'll take care of him. He looked spectacular. We moved that to the main event, like 2 days before we left the office. And we were all in there talking and felt like, that should be the main event of the prelims.
And how about Ibo and all the other talent?
And he delivered.
Yeah. And how about Ibo and all the other talent around this region? And Istanbul is an option for UFC Istanbul. What do you think about that?
I don't know. Off the top, I would like to think that everywhere in the world is an option for us. But, like I said, a lot of these things are star-driven. When you have a guy who comes from, we go into a market and you have a guy who can potentially be a star or is already a rising star, and you bring him into these markets. Like we have 2 Georgian world champions, right? You had Conor McGregor, who ignited all of Europe and other parts of the world. You got Tuporia now, where you're talking about going to Spain. You talk about Duplessis in Africa, and Izzy and Rob, and over in Australia and New Zealand. It's star-driven. We pop up with somebody from Istanbul, I'll see you there, believe me.
Dana, last for me only one. I don't know if Ilia Tuporia is like a visionary because he promised everything he promised are done. And last week he promised to be champion in 3 divisions. Are you worried about that?
Ilia Tuporia is like a visionary. Everything he says, everything he promises comes true. He promised something this last week, it came true today. Now he promised there's going to be a champion in 3 divisions. Are you worried about that?
Why would I worry about that? That's awesome. I mean, I'm a big fan of manifesting. I mean, all the greats do it. When you look at all the greats that have ever, competed in combat sports, they all tell you what they're going to do. And they usually do it. I love it.
Hi, first of all, congratulations on the great show.
Thank you.
If Ilia's next fight will be in Spain in 2025, is it possible to see 2 Georgian champions on the same card?
Yeah, anything's possible. Anything is possible.
Will you bring us O'Malley in Spain, or it will be Merab versus Umar?
Umar's next.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey Dana, to your left.
Yep.
I don't have a question, but I just really want to appreciate what you did to the sport, and I want you to know that even after 100 or 150 years, your name will always be there. So my request is, never stop what you're doing. Keep making this as big as you can, and never retire. Always stay there. You are not allowed to retire.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Hey Dana.
Go ahead, brother.
Right.
Yep.
Thank you from Leader Sport. First of all, congratulations again on the amazing card.
Thank you.
Featherweight is full of killers. You have Ilia, you have Volkanovski, Holloway, Diego Lopez, Evloev. Would you say it's the toughest division right now to compete in?
Yeah, it's one of them. It's one of them. I think there's a few tough divisions right now.
Another question, Ilia's brother, Alexander Tuporia, is also signed with the UFC. Any news maybe about his future opponent?
No clue. No, not right here off the top of my head. No.
Thank you.
Thank you. You guys done with me? Have a great night. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.